Hi everyone, and welcome to Creative Chelsea. If you like this video, please let me know by giving it a thumbs up or commenting below. If you want to see more of my videos, press on the subscribe button and click on the bell for notifications. If you need any Stampin' Up! Products to work on this technique that we're going to be learning today, you can visit my online store, and the link is in the description box below. Today I'm going to share with you how I color the gingerbread house in the stamp set from the November 2020 paper pumpkin kit called Jolly Gingerbread. And you can see that this stamp set's really cute. It has a lot of fun little curly cues and hand-drawn designs, and then some great greetings. But I wanted to focus this video on coloring this gingerbread house. And I've zoomed in on my workspace so that it's a nice close-up video for you. So what I've done is I've already placed my image on a clear block, and I'm going to stamp it in the cinnamon cider color from Stampin' Up. Now any brown color would probably work for you, and this one is just a really warm color, so that's why I like this color. Okay, so I've gone ahead and stamped that in that beautiful warm cinnamon cider brown. And then what I'm going to do is I'm coloring this with a blender pen. And the reason I like the blender pen is that it's one tool, but I can use it with any color ink, and it also gives me a very soft color, and I can get some good shading with it as well. You could also use markers or the Stampin' Blend markers as well. So I use this by adding color into the lid, and I do that by, when I have the ink pad closed, I squeeze the top to the bottom, and then when I open it, it will put some ink in that lid, and that's where I pick up my color. Now if the only thing you have are the Stampin' Spots, you can get the same result by opening your ink pad and pressing it onto a clear block. And I'm not sure if you can see that, but there's now some ink color there that you can pick up with a blender pen. So a blender pen is really fun to work with, like I said, because you can use lots of colors. It will sometimes stain your blender pen. You want to just make sure that you're working with it and it's nice and clean before you switch colors. And I will show you how to do that as well. So you're just going to pick up some color, and I'm going to go ahead and color in the front of this house, all with cinnamon cider. And I'm starting with the darker areas in the corners and along the edges, just as if it was baked in an oven. That's going to have a little bit of a darker feeling than the middle of the gingerbread house. And so that's kind of where I'm starting. And this area here is a little dark. It needs to be blended a little bit more. So I'm just going to pick up some more color and then blend that in a little bit so there's not a strong line of color going from dark to light. It's more blended. And that's another thing that I like about the blender pens, is that you can add shadows and highlights easily by just letting that ink run out or going back and getting some more. So what I'm doing here is I am coloring around all these little images. So I don't want to get any color in those circles or in those hearts, and we're going to fill those in with different colors to kind of give it a fun decorated gingerbread house look. So I'm just going to continue this all along the front of the house. Remember, I'm starting with my darkest colors in the corners and along the outside edge, and then I'm bringing that color into the middle and lightening up inside the house. And so we'll just make this video sped up a little bit as you watch me color in this cute gingerbread house. Okay, so here's a close-up of that gingerbread house, and you can see all that beautiful, rich, warm brown color colored in on the front of that house. So now let's move on to one of the colors we're going to be using. So before we move on, I'm going to just clean off my brush, and you just brush it back and forth on some scrap paper until it runs clear. So the next color I want to do is the Calypso Coral. And the same thing, you just want to get some ink in the lid. And then you're going to work on adding this to the different areas that you want to have this more of a darker pink color. So I want this up here in this cute little heart at the top of the house, and I can do that nice and dark so it stands out. And then I also want these columns coming down the by the door to be kind of a candy cane feeling. And so I'm going to put some color in between some of those larger space is what I'm coloring in, is the largest space there. And then I'm going to leave the areas white to kind of give that candy cane feeling. So I'll show you that. So the heart and the candy cane, and then you'll see there's some candy cane underneath the windows. So we'll do the same thing with that. And again, I just focused on the larger areas receiving that dark red color. And then I want to just add a little bit of color in my roof. I want it to be kind of a multicolor roof. And so just kind of randomly, there's like 5 colors I think I'm using. So you can kind of randomly add them. Okay, so for now, I think that's a really good place for me to stop with the Calypso Coral. And I'm going to next pick up the Blushing Bride. So this is the color that came in the kit. So before I move on, I want to just clean off my brush with the ink, so until it runs clear. So I did place some of that ink on a clear block. So I'm just going to go ahead and pick it up off that clear block. And we're mostly focusing this color on the roof. So just go ahead and fill that in, adding some pinks here and there. I don't have it anywhere else, but if you wanted to add some more, you can add that color in some other places. And then just clean it again until it runs clear. Let's go with the next color as this Mint Macaron. Want to really make sure that pink's not coming through, or it will make the color more brown. So I'm just going to pick that color up. This color is actually going to go in our windows to kind of give a reflection. And so you want a nice tip, and you're just going to do a couple really light lines and just kind of randomly on those windows. There's some up here that you can do too. Pick up a little more color. I'll just show you that close up so you can see how there's just a little reflection line in those windows. And then let's add a little Mint Macaron inside this door. The outside will be the shaded spruce, but this is a good place to add just a little more color. Okay, so we'll go ahead and, we need to put some of that in the roof. So just kind of again, randomly add this color to the roof. So our house is starting to come together. It's looking really cute. So you can go ahead and clean that. We are going to pick up the next dark green color, so you don't need to worry too much about it running clear because we are sticking with a darker variation of that same color. And so this one we're going to add to our door frame. So just go ahead and color that in. If by chance you go outside the lines, that's okay. It's kind of a hand painted feeling. You might need to use a really light touch so that it doesn't get really bold, especially when you're in those thin areas. And then go ahead and just fill in some of this dark green. And then we're going to move to a yellow color, and we're going to do the Daffodil Delight. So I want to make sure that green is all clear before we move to yellow. So here's the Daffodil Delight, and this just kind of brightens it up. You can add this. I'm going to place some in the rooftop. And then I'm going to actually do these other little white areas. Oh, and I forgot to do the green leaves. So we'll go back and get that green. So let's clean off that yellow. So there's kind of where I've placed the yellow. And let's go back and get that shaded spruce. And just going to add it to these little green, or these little leaves here as decoration. Again, you're going to need a light touch. Okay. So that looks like that's done. And when I'm cleaning these, I'm not pressing down on the tip because I want my tip to stay nice and pointy. And so I'm cleaning off the edges of that tip. Okay. That's just another little technique when doing the blender pen. So let me give you a close-up of those little leaves. And then I noticed I also forgot to do the circles in the window. So I'm going to add just a little bit of the cinnamon cider to those circles. So now my gingerbread house is all decorated and ready to put on my card. You can use any ink colors with this blender pen to achieve the look that you want with your gingerbread house. And the last thing I'm going to do is just quickly fussy cut it out so that I can place it on my card. And this is a really easy image to fussy cut. You just are doing a bunch of straight lines. So the way I like to do straight lines is I kind of like to all go in the same direction, and then I flip and cut again in that same direction. And that gives me some of those really nice corners. And then, because I'm left-handed, things can sometimes get a little tricky. So I'm just going to remove the majority of that here and then come in to this one at a different angle so that I can get, again, that nice sharp corner. And then do the same thing on the top and bottom. Or not the top, but the sides and bottom. So here is that finished gingerbread house. And then I'd like to show you two other versions. This version uses just the Blushing Bride and Mint Macaron colors along with cinnamon cider to create this version. And I'm using the exact same techniques that I shared with you, just change the colors and the placement. And then here is my last version. This one uses most of those same colors except for the Daffodil Delight. And you can see that we've done a whole roof of just Blushing Bride. And it's really fun to kind of create different gingerbread houses with this technique and the ink colors that you have. If you would like to see the alternative projects that these cute little gingerbread houses are in, you can click up here in the top right corner to see the playlist. And each day this week, there will be a new alternative project. Thank you so much for watching. Have a creative day. Bye.